Hocus Pocus, one of the most beloved Halloween classics of all time. In 2022, Disney released their Hocus Pocus sequel. The film was a massive hit as it became the most successful film premiere on Disney Plus in the United States. In a recent interview with SiriusXM, Bette Midler said, "They're talking about a third, very gingerly and very gently. Third, in this case, meaning Hocus Pocus 3. In this episode, we're going to discuss the future of Hocus Pocus, and I'm going to let you know my thoughts on this interview. So for any Hocus Pocus fans out there, this news is very exciting. This interview is very exciting because we don't know much about Hocus Pocus 3 at all. We could probably guess that the Sanderson sisters will be returning. This is a Hocus Pocus film. I think for sure the Sanderson sisters will be returning, but we have no idea about the plot. We really don't know about anything at all. So I think it's really important that we take a look at this interview because we haven't heard really any updates about Hocus Pocus 3, hardly anything at all. We know that it's in development, but we don't know much. We don't know much at all. I think it's really important that we take a look at this interview because we don't know much about the film, and the fact that we haven't gotten an update in a while is kind of disappointing. But I think it's very great that I think it's very important that we got this update. Without further ado, let's take a look at this interview.
That I've been holding back. I've just wanted to scream Hocus Pocus in your face, but I was like, I'm not going to do that. We have this iconic figure sitting here. I can't do that. But it was such an important movie to me growing up, and I didn't realize that it had not been considered this massive success. I assumed it won Best Picture growing up.
I've watched Hocus Pocus so many times, the original. And I haven't had a single time I've watched it that I've been dissatisfied. It's one of the best Halloween movies. It's one of the best Halloween classics, really. It's a movie that people watch every year. And yeah, I think that's why people really have so much desire to see Hocus Pocus return for a third film. I mean, the nostalgia when you see the Sanderson sisters on screen again.
You know what I mean? And so I'm so curious for you how you felt about that movie after you filmed it. Were you like, okay,
good question.
That was that, and then realized, oh my God, it's taken off in this whole other way.
I have to tell you, it was a real surprise to all of us when it took off.
Really?
It took off because of television.
I think it's one of the best soundtracks
we really didn't catch up to it for years. It was years before we learned that this had become this massive cult success.
That's really interesting. I never knew that, really. It took years to become they didn't know for years that it had become this huge success. I mean, I feel like the film is so deserving to be a big success. I mean, it has one of the best soundtracks ever. Everybody, when you think of Hocus Pocus, you think, I put a spell on you. Yeah, that's what you think. That's what you think. I mean, one of the best soundtracks, too. And I think it's not just the movie alone, but also the soundtrack that really makes Hocus Pocus special and different from really any other saga, really any other films that Disney's produced. The fact that actors on set had no clue that this film would become such a massive success that it is today, that's really interesting.
And I have to say, in the shooting, she is so great. Winnie, another great one.
Couldn't agree more.
She is so outside me. She's probably the least like me of any character I've ever played.
Really, and, one of the best characters.
Every ham comic wants to play Lear.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to play Shakespeare.
That's great.
Of course, I want to play Shakespeare too, but the ship has sailed.
I really do think that Midler fits the character of Winnie so well. I mean, I don't think anybody else could do it. She really is the perfect actor for Winnie. So her philosophy about Winnie being completely different from her is really interesting, really fascinating. And the fact that she can play somebody so different from her so well, I think that really says a lot about her.
And she is the closest thing I will ever get to Shakespeare's because she's from the era. You know, she's from the time, around the time of Shakespeare, and she really does put it on.
I really never thought about it that way.
All the great things you love in a great villain. She's vicious, she's hilarious, she's ridiculous looking, and she doesn't know any of that. She's completely, it goes over her head. So, I
really like her description of Winnie. I really like her description of that character, and so. Yeah, I think her description is quite accurate, actually. The hair, I thought that was funny. But yeah, what a great description.
We didn't know that it was going to be a hit, and no one was as surprised as we were.
So fascinating.
And now they're kind of talking about a third,
Here
very
we go.
gingerly and very gently.
Hocus Pocus 3, folks.
They're talking about it. I thought the second one was a huge success.
Well, here's the thing, Bette. The second one
and that's the thing we all came here to talk about. Hocus Pocus 3. Hocus Pocus 2 was a massive success. Even it was exclusive to Disney Plus, and it still was a huge success. It wasn't even the box office. It was a success. So the fact that Midler's talking about Hocus Pocus 3 can give us a lot of hope. From the way I see it, I don't think Midler'd be talking about the film at all if there wasn't a good chance that Hocus Pocus 3 is on its way.
The second one goes on the pantheon of great sequels.
Absolutely
I was nervous,
agree.
I have to admit, just because I'm like, I love the first one so much. And it's like such a thing
the first
in that
one's
time.
Great.
And you guys
and
knocked
so is
it
the
out
second
of the park.
one.
It's up there with The Dark Knight, Godfather 2, Grease 2, Hocus Pocus 2, all the important ones.
Does Grease 2 belong there?
Yes,
I'm not sure it does.
If you tell me it's great, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to watch that.
You're going to
really?
Because you can't figure out on the, on your streamers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much stuff.
It's true.
How do
it's
you
true.
know? You only know if someone tells you. I watched it.
Absolutely.
So you're right.
But the apothecary sequence where you guys go into like a modern, basically like CVS or Dwayne Reed and Hocus Pocus 2,
that was a great
literally chef's kiss.
It's been a while since we've got an update about Hocus Pocus 3. In this interview, we got just that. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.